YouTube. How we doing today? How we doing? It's been a little while since I've been on PoE 2, grinding away at my mercenary, my especially fire mercenary, trying to be like a fire raid boss mercenary. It's slowly progressing, and I'll say slowly progressing because you'll be able to see kind of the build that I'm working with. So essentially, I'm trying to make explosive shot work and trying to build in the passive tree, fire resist, and getting a lot of exposure for fire damage, and trying to tailor this entire build towards Herald of Ash, explosive shot. And so some of the major updates from the last video that I made, which was a bit ago, gear is kind of mostly the same here. I definitely need to keep increasing the gear here. Definitely getting more defensive resist, which is really, really nice. But so far, this is kind of what I'm working with right here. I finally am getting fire resist. I didn't have that before. So now I need to start focusing in on chaos resist as well. Balance everything out, of course. But so far, everything is basically strength. Like, you want to go straight strength just because of the fire damage and because a lot of the nodes that we're going to start building into are all on the warrior class, and the warrior class, of course, is all built on strength. Herald of Ash as well is all strength. So that's definitely the hardest thing that I've found, is trying to get enough strength to really do Herald of Ash. I tried out Plasma Burst. The load is just too long. Like, it takes way too long to load. It's only viable against bosses, nothing else. I didn't want to go the full shock build. That is pretty meta. I didn't want to go the grenade build. It's pretty meta, so that's why I finished up my ice build and that glacial bolt build. That might be my favorite build. But with this class, I'm going to try rock and explosive shot, and then siege cascade. Siege cascade, I tried making that work instead of explosive shot. It just doesn't do the damage I like. I definitely need to take this out and then swap in probably one of these. Probably a fire infusion. So we'll just say fire infusion on both these slots here. But explosive shot so far has a really good damage from projectiles and explosions, but explosions is definitely the main damage that I'm trying to focus on here. I don't think there's as much damage. Yeah, like main hand fire damage is 2 to 900 projectile, and then 5 to 1800. So that's why explosion is definitely the biggest thing that you want. And that's definitely what I'm trying to focus on with getting scatter shot, primal armament, fire infusion, and then primal armament down here, and then fire infusion down here for cascade as well. Oil grenades are very good against gold mobs and bosses. Very nice to get exposure and blind. Blind is one of the most underrated things that I found in this game. Doesn't matter what build I'm really going, but blinding bosses, blinding gold enemies, it's incredible. Exposure also is fantastic. I believe that's how this works. I believe they do get extra fire exposure. So they get fire exposure from the oil, and then they get extra fire exposure. I think it's literally I think it's adding on. Could be wrong. But then I'm doing Wind Dancer, Herald of Ash. Herald of Ash is definitely very underwhelming compared to Herald of Ice. Herald of Ice is just way better. This magnified effect, I also think it needs to be slotted out, because the difference between 1.3 meters and 1.1 meters, like, it's no difference at all. Like, it is just as small. And then emergency reload's really good to have a nice extra reload for the explosive shot here. But the biggest thing I wanna focus in on is this passive tree. It's basically the same as what I was doing before. This extra Herald skill, AoE, and damage helps. Beforehand, I also did increased attack area damage. I might think about going back into this for the explosive shot, but instead I started going down into here finishing off this as well, full salvo. So I started finishing off some of these down here. And then, of course, all the nodes because I need that extra strength. But I do want to start shifting over here on the left side, getting a lot of the fire damage. So the big kicker is this one down here, Avatar of Fire. I want to try this one out. I really want to try this one out. I'll actually bring up my Path of Building, which I really need to understand because it's way too in-depth, and for someone who's never used it before, there's just so much that's going on. So here's my Path of Building that I'm looking at here. Let me switch over cameras and show you guys my Path of Building. There it is. Here's my POB. So you can see here's my main nodes for right now. I'm kind of thinking like I don't really need this. I could go straight into, especially here, penetrating fire resist, and then I will think about going back into the attack area damage, but it didn't feel like that was really helping out too much and doing too much. But Path of Building, I want to get into, I have that one as well. I really want to get into here. Obviously, this is great for fire damage. And then over here is even more fire damage and Avatar of Fire. I think this might work out once I get here, but I think this is kind of like a long grind to actually get there and get all these extra passive trees, nodes. I will look to see if there's anything else that is kind of relevant on the path here for Warrior, but this does feel very out of the way. But if it is that good, then I will definitely give you guys an update, and I will definitely keep rocking this build, and then still playing my other glacial build as well, which is I think kind of my favorite. But so that's kind of what I'm working with here. I can show you guys some of the gameplay, but the issues right now is I do need more fire exposure. I need more fire damage, and that's kind of the main thing here. I'm trying to scale and get everything into extra fire damage, but maybe I'm thinking of just going straight into just the area attack damage, Alright, so we're showing off the video. Showing off the build, actually. My bad, dude. I'm showing off the build here. And it's basically just big explosion. Sometimes goes boom. That's why I see. I'm thinking if I go into AoE damage, it wouldn't be bad to have a bigger AoE. So have like a bigger explosion. Herald of Ash just feels again pretty weak. That's definitely like kind of the biggest thing between Herald of Ice and like everything else. But these guys will. Okay, he didn't burn all the way, but they also will, tend to burn. There you go. So, running through doesn't feel too bad for right now. I missed that one, but other than that, like I usually will two-shot, one-shot everything almost. It depends if it's a bigger mob or a smaller one. But you're pretty mobile and pretty nimble with this kind of a build. Doesn't take too much skill to use it here. Not the fastest clear in the world, but again, since this is Cruel Part 2, I don't expect to be running through every boss and running through, everybody. But survivability standpoint, like it's not bad at all. Definitely can make it work, but I definitely, as I get higher in the levels and start to get into towers and end-game content, I definitely want to improve this so it's kind of just screen clearing, fire burning kind of stuff. It's actually a huge pickup. Not gonna lie here. But this is what it looks like here. We're just running through. The more mobs you have, the more the Herald of Ash can proc and blow things up, so it's always nicer having that. Other than that, like I'm just kind of shooting at the ground to pop a big AoE effect. I'm just hitting everything here. But I wouldn't say it's a slow clear whatsoever, so definitely try it out. And if you guys like the video, I'll keep up more content. I think I'm going to start doing some updates too as well on the game for those that, you know, don't have time to read through all of the patch notes and to look into the like early access updates that they give. I know the next big patch is coming out. Supposedly going to add some more classes. They're going to add new towers, design, things like that. And so that would be really cool. And I'm hoping I can get 10 levels or so I can finally start to see how this build really ramps up. And I'm hoping it will ramp up to make clearing and everything a lot better. But I would say this build is probably like a 6 out of 10, where I feel like the Glacial Bolt build that I was running before was probably like a 7 out of 10 because I love that one so much more. That one was melting big time. But again, I played it so you guys didn't have to, so here you go. I will keep grinding away at this and let you know if there is a wall that I do hit, or if there are some breakthroughs, because maybe if I keep going fire exposure, fire damage, all that stuff, it'll really help out. We'll see. Anyways, you guys like the content, like, subscribe, do everything. I'm gonna go kill this boss real quick and show you how it's done. Wonder how fast I can do this to either. Let's see. Come on. Where'd he go? Gotta go find him. There we go. I guess at least on the positive note is there's a lot of AoE coming from this build. So if I do, if any of the bosses have a lot of mobs or ads that do spawn, it's pretty helpful. It's pretty helpful for that. Where'd he go? There he is. Fire exposure's big. The oil grenades, I love those things. Let's dodge everybody here. Run through everything. It's hard to track them down with the oil grenades, though. That's kind of one of the bigger things. Kill the mobs real quick. Of course, that misses. There's on the other side, of course. There we go. Stun. Hit him. I mean, I wouldn't say any game-breaking glitches, any game-breaking builds here. But, you know, playing the game how it's intended, I'd say. No. My God, dude. Almost got stun locked there and died. There we go. Not the slowest. Not the slowest, I'd say.